Welcome back everyone to Grant's Gaming Realm, and we're here to talk about the Resident Evil 4 remake and the future of other Resident Evil remakes. I will be completely spoiling the game, so be warned. Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, so I was highly anticipating the release of this remake. At first I didn't think they were going to change much with the remake, but once the gameplay came out I was like, oh yes, they're going above and beyond for this. Capcom knew Resident Evil 4 is their magnum opus, their holy grail. So when it came to this game, they knew they could not screw this up. I'm here to say gladly, this is by far the best Resident Evil remake, and once again, Resident Evil 4 is the best Resident Evil game. The gameplay is so much better than ever, from the obvious addition of moving while you aim, and a bunch of other amazing gameplay additions, such as expanded crafting with many different ammo types and grenades, to more herb combinations, more guns, expanded treasure system, and other gameplay improvements overall. Leon is more badass than ever, with Leon now having knife parrying. I didn't think he could get more badass, but he did. He still has his great melee moves and some of his quips. I was a little worried about the knife system, but I definitely think it's for the better. Even though knives break now, they're stronger and overall more useful. In terms of Leon's gameplay, the remake is by far superior than the original. My only critique is I miss having a laser sight on all guns, and weapons are harder to aim with, and the body armor breaks way too easily. It's pretty expensive to repair without the body armor charm. I felt too that some of the weapons got nerfed, but other than that, it's perfect. I love the improvements to Ashley. She is so much better now. She still gets in the way sometimes, but she doesn't scream Leon every 2 seconds and just overall not as annoying. The fact that you don't have to heal her anymore is a godsend. Getting rid of QTEs was pretty huge, and I definitely think it was the right call. The knife fight with Krauser in particular is so much better now. This very well could be just a me problem, but I wasn't scared that much. But I think it's just because I played the original Resident Evil 4 so many times, I pretty much saw everything coming. The story is great as always. The remake gets most of the general A to B like the original, but remixes and changes up a few things. Leon still has his quips, but I feel like it got toned down a bit, which sucks, but it's whatever. Kinda missed some of the iconic one-liners, but it's all good. I get why they got rid of some. Ada, I feel like, though, is way too toned down and doesn't have much personality like the original. Remake Ada can kind of sound monotone sometimes. I was kind of surprised they cut the U3 or the disgusting monster on the island, whatever you like to call it, but I hear they're going to put that in the Separate Ways DLC and make it longer than the original, so we'll have to wait and see, but that's just a rumor for now. Mercenaries is fun. Never really cared for it, but it's pretty fun this time around. Kind of wish it gave you more unlocks than just a hand cannon. Maybe some tokens for charms or something like that, I think could really help the mode out, because it's been getting a lot of criticism that really you just get an S on 3 stages and get the hand cannon and that's it, and you don't get any rewards whatsoever, but it is what it is. There's a lot more costumes and completion bonuses now, but surprisingly the PRL got cut in Leon's RPD suit. But I do like how we have accessories now that do take less damage, infinite ammo for all guns, melee attacks get boosted, stuff like that. Finally, once again, Resident Evil 4 is the best survival horror game of all time. And now we even have a better version with the remake. Before I go, I want to talk about the future now with the remakes, because now we're in a pretty interesting situation. It was a no-brainer to remake 2, 3, and 4, and all the remakes so far kept the souls of the game but made great modern changes. Well, except for 3. But we all know how that went. If we're going by chronological order, next is Resident Evil 5, and it's going to be interesting how they handle this one. At first I thought it was too early to remake Resident Evil 5, because it still looks pretty good to modern day standards. But I definitely think Resident Evil 5 will be the next remake, since it was heavily teased in the ending scene with Ada and Wesker. There are even references to Resident Evil 5 like Excella and the underground garden being on Wesker's screen. Also with Wesker talking about killing billions of people just like he wanted to do in 5. What will Capcom change with the Resident Evil 5 remake? Do they keep the co-op and the action-packed nature of the game, or will they just make it more traditional with scares in a single-player story? Resident Evil is complicated to me personally, because Resident Evil 5 is a terrible Resident Evil game, but a fantastic action game. I have great memories playing co-op with my friends, and we all have beat the game numerous times. You can't please everybody no matter what. You're going to alienate some people, but I think the best course of action is to mostly keep the game intact. I would bring all those great changes made in Resident Evil 4 and just continue on course. I'd love if somehow they can make the game scarier, but I don't think that's possible if co-op stays in the remake. This even goes for Resident Evil 6. Like, how do you fix that when it comes to 6? I think they should just start from scratch, but we'll save that talk for a different day. I think it would actually be great to remake the original Resident Evil again, to give some backstory to Wesker. Possibly even remake Code Veronica or even Resident Evil 0, since I haven't played those two games. I'm looking forward to what Capcom does next with Resident Evil. This has been Grant's Gaming Realm. If you just want to listen to these episodes as a podcast, go to Apple or Spotify and you'll find me there. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time.